I work at Amazon warehouse now, and there are all the workers who are, when I try to ask them and if they want to join, get involved, sometimes I hear they tell me, look, I was part of the labor movement in the 80s, but look where I am now. I'm working as a warehouse worker for very little wage under permanent control, and we lost this battle, then they say. I don't think we have to think of how the past experience of the labor movement in Poland is also influencing our movement now. But on the other hand, there's, for example, at Amazon, there's a lot of young workers who have totally no experience of being a member of the union, and also with a little unemployment level nowadays in Poland, which is something new. Basically, there are regions, especially cities in Poland, where there is no unemployment now. Often the strategy is to job hop. I mean, to not be to not put hope in the career in one workplace. So there's also many young workers would say, I don't want to get involved because I will not stay in Amazon for even a year. So what was the reason to join? But on the other hand, when we talk to temporary workers who have only monthly contracts, they look for this stability. So there are different. On one hand, the strategy of workers to improve situation is to change employment and to look for something better. But on the other hand, we miss stability, and we need high wages because of the growing cost with the cost of housing, and so often especially when people face problems, growing tensions from managers, a lot of negative feedbacks, then there is a moment they find us, they know where to find us, and then ask for support. But as I said, that just job hopping means a lot of workers are not really afraid anymore, because they say, yes, I want to show my anger, I don't want to agree with this permanent control and permanent pressure, so I will stand up and try to change something. That's why there are people who are not afraid and who want to self-organize and do something about it. Even, with Amazon, it's not easy. It's a big corporation who has a lot of specialists on the boss side to control us and to union boss those who are try to fight for the better conditions, so then sometimes it's difficult, because there's a lot of lack of trust. But after days when we work together, when we talk to each other, and they also, when I try to explain, or we together try to also practically show that Workers' Initiative is try to develop different model of the unionism, of grassroots movement. It takes time, of course, but when people see it, and then also they see that we are on the same eye level, they get involved. So with the recent changes in the labor market in Poland, I think we also have to ask ourselves about new possibilities and new strategies. Because also the time when the unemployment is low and the wages are growing, which we see in Poland, is also could be a time for hopes of the labor movement, and the moment when we can feel that workers are the power and we have the power to change the situation. We were first to, for example, talk about conditions of the workers in the special economical zones in Poland, or workers who work on the precarious contract. A few years ago, 30% of the workers in Poland didn't have a labor contract. So workers have started a campaign to talk about conditions of workers who don't have a labor contract, or when the section of our union started in the special economical zones in the factory that produced for LG Corporation. Then we were the first who actually showed the conditions of the thousands of workers who worked in the special economical zones in Poland, where big corporations don't have to pay taxes, And this factory, Tang Kong factory, there was a strike, legal strike actually, that was according to the legal law. Despite that, 30 of our members were fired, and also of course that also showed how bad situation is there. I mean, regarding the freedom of association, freedom to strike. So that happened a few years ago, but started a long debate about conditions in the special economical zones. Right now there is more 15 special economical zones, but the government is discussing whether we should abolish them and make the conditions in the whole country for employers to not pay taxes. Like, for example, Amazon is not paying any taxes in Poland because they don't. They claim to not make any profit in Poland because they only what we get all the commodities from Germany and send the commodity back to Germany, so we don't make any profits. So actually the whole education of workers, all infrastructure is paid from taxes of workers, but those who make profits, and remember Jeff Bezos is the richest person in the world, they don't contribute to the social reproduction of labor force. And of course, the working on Amazon means a lot of bad influence on our health, and this the whole system is paid from taxes workers. So we as workers, of course, pay quite high taxes, but the Amazon company doesn't. This is something also that has to be said, and we should be aware of it.
Amazon ist ein internationaler Konzern, der in den Ländern, wo er Standorte hat, so gut wie keine Steuern zahlt, der die Infrastruktur ausnutzt, der seinen Arbeitern so gut wie keine Mitbestimmung gewährt, und dem gilt es, ein Ende zu machen.
I think what is really important for people is to have a control over own union, basically, of own activity. And I can tell you a story how Amazon section started. There was a group of workers, young workers who worked abroad, and they when they came back to Poland, they realized quickly that the conditions on Amazon in Poland are different, are worse than in Poland. So they said, than abroad, and they said, okay, we have to do something about it. They said we have to start a union, and they were looking for a union which is not big unions, because they said they want to have a control over. And they said, let's check workers' initiative. And those who are part of the IP today, they said to each other before they entered the office of the IP, they said, if there is a secretary and there is expensive furniture, we don't join this union, because it means our fees will go to the bureaucracy, and they don't want it. They didn't want it. So they saw a little union office in the neighborhood, the working class neighborhood, and they said, this is the place where we want to start, because it means we will have a control over our own union. So in Cegielski factory, it was the IPA section fed up with the bureaucracy of the compromising unions. That was they wanted to have control. This is the thing why the new sections start of IPA in different factories. But also, of course, we discussed how to put together the interests of the different workers, permanent workers, temp workers, women workers. So we try to organize events and invite those who are on daily basis working in their workplaces. As an example, I can give you, on the 3rd of March this year, we organized social congress of women, and we had representatives from different sections, and also women from tenants movement, who discussed their problems. And of course, there were workers working for the local government, working for Amazon, workers from hospitals, or care workers. They were on daily basis. They are active in their industries, but there is, of course, many common questions they discussed during the special about the women's situation of women on the labor market or inside the organization. So, and this year probably the campaign that will also put together different workers from different sections of our union. It will be a campaign against a plan of attack on labor law in Poland. Soon we will hear the new proposal of changes in the labor law, try to introduce, for example, 0 hours contract in Poland, or limit the rights of independent little union in comparison with the big unions. So already we started discussions, and we want to do a campaign and discuss this and protest against it on the streets and talk to other workers in our workplaces. So as a workers' initiative, we also try to look for these topics that put together workers from different workplaces.